Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for October 25, 2024, the 80-hour Workweek edition. And we begin with that story from the Financial Times as Wall Street banks are trying to tackle the workloads of their junior staff. And apparently they've finally come to the conclusion that working 100 to 120 hours a week is a problem. No one has a problem working 80, maybe even 90. But at 100, you're tired, and 120, well, you're probably near death. At any rate, J.P. Morgan has capped junior hours bankers at 80 hours, although the limit does not apply when working on live deals. Well, aren't all deals live? It appointed a senior exec to oversee the junior banker program. The introspection was triggered by the death of Leo Lukinas, a junior banker at the Bank of America, who, although had been a Green Beret, died while working for the Bank of America. So finally, maybe it's starting to change. I'm not hopeful. From the New York Times, a very troubling story about an email inquiry from the chief pilot of Ethiopian Airlines about the warnings on the 737 MAX that he emailed to Boeing after the first crash. And Boeing did not respond because of the investigation of the first crash. Did Boeing know something and didn't tell? Ethiopian Airlines was pretty, I don't want to say horrifying, but the existence of the inquiry and the generalities of Boeing's response had been made known, but the decision not to reply because of the ongoing investigation had not been made. So definitely not a good look for Boeing. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Mingy Sun reporting that FInCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, has fined a California casino over willful violations of AML regulations, the first enforcement action against a casino in nearly 6 years. The California-based Elsinore Hotel and Casino agreed to pay some $900,000 for its violations. And finally, AI at work, will it make burnout worse? Well, according to a story in the BBC, that may be true because of AI can give you really even more work to do because you have more access to resources, quicker resources at your fingertips, and it only could work towards increasing burnout. Happy Friday. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.